Welcome to my awesome health journey. I'm Brett Dupree. Today I'm talking about ADHD medication. I've been on it now for about 2 months. Next week will be my second month. The first month was on Adderall and the second month was on Vyvanse. I switched from Adderall to Vyvanse because on Adderall my hands got freaking cold. I'm talking about freezing, and my feet got freezing. And it was a lower dose as well. And it was the slow release, but like that was enough to switch, and man, that was uncomfortable. That was not a fun side effect. And on Vyvanse, I would say my hands are colder than they usually are, but they're not freezing and they don't get in pain, so that is better. I know I kind of jumped the gun because this purpose is kind of talking about like my experiences on ADHD medication. I kind of went on ADHD because like I heard some family members were on for ADHD, and it's genetic. And so I'm like, fine. Every time I look at ADHD things, I have it, I think, just based on what people say. In fact, I think I'm like the slightly on the autistic spectrum. ADHD thing that seems to be right now being coined as ADHD, because that's just like I am that. I hate structure, but I need structure, and I have a lot of those fighting things in my brain where it's really hard for me to do things. In fact, I made a lot of things make sense, especially my binge eating, and the way I self-medicate a lot with food in general, and spending, and a lot of other bad habits. Just a lot of things started making sense. And I know some people I've met be like, if they learn something like that, they think something's wrong with them or there's something to be fixed. But I think about it, the knowledge of this is my issue, now I have a better way of understanding how to work with it. Instead of doing things for, I've been into personal growth since since I was 27, since I was 27, and that's like 20 years. And I think a lot of the things I learned didn't work for me because my brain worked different. And a lot of the tactics they have are for people who are just in the, what they call neurotypical. Well, anyway, so my ADHD medication journey has been interesting so far. The bad parts are like I had a problem with sleep this week, but I'm beginning to think I got sick. I just had a combination of sickness and just something that's made me phlegmy and hard to go to sleep, and then getting mentally in my head, because like when I get tired and I need to sleep, the more I want to go to sleep, the less I can sleep. It's like that I can't think myself to sleep, unfortunately, and there's a problem I've had all my life. It's one reason why I think I have ADHD, because I've never been able to sleep. When I was a child, I used to have like hard time. It used to take me a good night was a half an hour to get to sleep, and then wake up in like different parts of the bed. Like sleeping is so difficult, and I finally got to the point where I was okay at it. But every once in a while, I'll get to the point where I can't sleep. And I had a week where where every night it felt like I finally got some sleep at like 3 a.m. and I wake up at 6. And man, it was awful this weekend. I was in such a bad state of mind. I spent too much money and just. I finally feel like myself today. I did skip my medication yesterday to make sure I could get to sleep, but I have some tactics that I've learned, from like vitamin C to some sleepy time medicine. Not medicine, but like sleepy time tea with some chamomile and stuff. So hopefully I can get to the point where I can sleep relatively well. But even before last week, especially Adderall, I'd go to sleep at 10:30 and wake up at like 12:31 every night, and wake up like 3 to 4 times a night instead of once or twice, which is what I generally do now. To go to the bathroom, because I'm at that age where I generally wake up at night. So that part has been annoying. I've also learned my forgetfulness part is just as bad. That hasn't really improved. But I am better at remembering my forgetfulness, at least. When I'm like, where did I put my wallet? It's probably here. So I'm able to find things quicker. The coolest part is working. I'm able to focus at work. And I've also have less mini anxieties. Like not code switching, but switching tasks is something that's hard for me. Like I tend to do bad habits, especially at work, that I've gotten talking to in the past, and I have to switch tasks all the time at work. I'm a tester, so I test. Oh, now I have to write a bug, and I'd be like, oh, I don't want to do that. And now I'm able to do that easier without that feeling like little anxiety that would happen. Then I want to self-medicate that anxiety, and then yeah, so that's better. I'm able to work without listening to anything, just in silence, which is weird for me. In fact, I can't listen to a podcast and work at the same time. It's just too distracting. So that's pretty cool. I think overall, though, I do like the focus that it has, and having a quieter mind feels better. I like Vyvanse better because I think it lasts longer and is just a calmer effect on my brain. Like I don't feel it as like Adderall really felt like things really caught quiet in my brain, and then when it wore off, it was like my brain started screaming, and I don't have brain screaming on Vyvanse, which I do enjoy not having. It's just, it feels more subtle when it starts wearing off throughout the day, rather than, oh my gosh, now it's off. Here's everything I wanted to do, but I couldn't do. Actually, another thing that is interesting on ADHD medication, especially I think probably because I'm on GLP-1s as well, is that no matter what I eat, I feel gross, bloated, and disgusting and full afterwards. I mean, I'm talking about if I eat a full meal at a restaurant, like, well, Saturday I had breakfast macaroni and cheese with macaroni and cheese and eggs, and I put sausage gravy on it and a biscuit, and I felt so gross afterwards. But like this morning, I had a protein bar, and after my protein bar, which is like 200 calories and 18 grams of protein, it's not the best protein bar, but it does taste nice. The Jimmy's protein bar, I felt the same gross bloatedness. So eating has to be more mechanical, and since I'm working on intuitive eating as well, and making sure my body gets the nutrition it needs, I feel like I have to be more of that, because I did a lot of checking in my body to figure out how it feels and checking how I feel afterwards on the meal. But if I feel the same after every meal, that's not something I can do anymore. And it's not a good barometer. I just have to be smart about it and just be more deliberate. But with my quieter mind, overall, I think that's not as bad, because I don't think we think about how much energy our brain takes. And every time you make a decision, that's brain power. There's something at Orange Theory that they have is like excuses don't burn calories. But the thing is, excuses do burn calories because it's the decision, and that the decision has been made, and it's just something, it's hard to do. And that's one thing, like what willpower is just making the same decision over and 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 over again. Each time you do is just like more and more energy. I know, like the con man Steve Jobs, as famously says, so he doesn't wear himself out. He wears the same thing every day, so that just reduces one decision he has to make. That's something I do agree with that he says, because it's just a lot of energy. And just even on the Adderall, when I got to the point my brain was screaming, it didn't feel as tired around 3. Like when I work around 3 or 4, I am dead. It's really hard for my brain to function. Like if I'm at 4 and I have a new task to start, it's really hard to start the new task. Generally, I don't, because it's useless. I'm going to do a bad job because my brain just is tired. And on ADHD medication, I've been honestly few times, it's been 4 or 5, and I don't want to stop working. I'm on a roll, and I'm like, I kind of want to keep on going. And sometimes I've worked a little late because I just liked what I was doing, and I just kept on going. And at the time, I had nothing to do afterwards, so I just work an extra hour because I just wanted these things to be done. So yeah, it's been an interesting process on it. I wish it was all sunshine and rainbows, but the not sleeping thing is kind of bothering me, and so I'm hoping that we work on that in a way, because I think sleep is one of the most important things you can do for my body. So yeah, overall, that's been my experience on ADHD medications. Thank you for listening. I love you for who you are, and as always, you're worthy.